Okay, so this is going to be a series of videos talking about my experience with the TEAS exam. And I'm here to tell you that if you took the exam and you failed it the first time, this is not the end of the world. It doesn't make you a bad student. It's not going to define you as whether you're going to be a good or a bad nurse. And it's not the end of your career. So um, basically, just take this experience and take your score and just figure out where are the parts that you fail in and what you need to work on um, for the next time you take the exam over again. In my situation, my school required me to pass 3 out of the 4 sections of the test with a 50, with a 50%, and so in each part. So because I was or I am because I am a very good student. I have A's in all of my prerequisite classes. I felt that I was going to focus my energy on um, the subject that I thought that I was weakest in, and that was math. And so a week before the exam, I sat down and basically went over the math and um, did as many practice questions as I could in the math section, so that I was confident when it came to taking the test. So I neglected the other parts. I barely looked at the other parts in the ATI book, and I just focused my energy on the math section. And so when it came time to the test, I felt that it was doable. I felt that it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, but that was my first mistake that I made, not taking the time to go over the other sections. And so I felt one of the parts, which was the English part. Surprisingly, you would say, oh, so why would you fail the English part? I mean, didn't you pass your English classes with A's? Well, yes, I did pass my classes with A's, and I thought that I would pass the English part, at least get a 50 on it. But that wasn't the case, and so um, it's different. It's different than taking an English class. And what I'm trying to tell you is that um, I would have known that if I had taken a look at the other sections of the test, and I would have figured that out, that I needed to study some of the grammar, and I needed to study some of the, I don't know, sentence structures, so that when it came to the test and I saw that, I would I would have known. But I didn't know because I didn't take the time to do that, and so that was my first mistake. Now you don't want to do that either. You don't want to take the test and see um, and let the test tell you the part that you're lacking in. And so, because that means that you might fail that part, right? That section. So the best thing to do, and what I'm planning on doing now, is to pay for one of the assessments. Like, once I study the parts and stuff like that, I'm going to pay for one of the assessments, test online, and I'm going to take it and see if I'm ready for the exam. And so I think that's one of the things that I'm going to be doing for before I take the exam this time around. It might be good to set up a date for your exam. And the reason why it might be good to set up a date for the exam is because, hold on. I. The reason why it might be good to set up a date, an exam date, is because that would actually force you to study. It would actually put pressure on you to study. Um, some people, especially procrastinators, we need that. Um, but don't do it in a sense that, yeah, me, hijo. Don't do it in a sense that, don't do it like me. Don't wait a week before the exam to start studying. Okay, so just to recap, if you haven't taken the test, then of course you can learn from my experience and then don't do what I did. Um, but if you have taken a test and you failed, then by all means, do not be so hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself. We are sometimes our biggest critics and our worst enemies. And so be kind to yourself and know that everything is going to be okay. And that this is just an experience, so you're going to do better the next time. Second, take an assessment exam. They sell in the ATI um, website. I don't know how much for it, but you could definitely figure that out by just googling it. I might include it if I find the information. Anyways, just take an assessment exam. It's a good idea to buy the two. I think they sell two. So buy the two assessment exams. Take one before you start studying, so they could pinpoint the area where you're most weak is at. And once you study, you focus yourself in that area, but do not neglect the other areas. Once you've gone through all of the parts of the test with your studying, then then take the assessment exam and see how you do. Okay, so that was the second part, right? And third, set up your test date. Set up your test date. Pick a date, and so that it could give you a little bit of pressure to study. But do not do like me and a week before the exam start studying. Give yourself a little bit of room to make changes if you need. Um, and remember that if you are going to take the TEAS exam and you set the date and you pay for the exam and you set the date, that you cannot change the date. You will have to miss the test, and or I don't know if you could cancel the appointment, but they will not reimburse you the money. So you have to keep that in mind.